wearing the most beautiful clothes, getting paid lots of money, being mobbed, which was a bit scary, but you know, it was a fairy tale. It was, you know, Cinderella.
Twiggy, the so-called most famous model of them all, was born Leslie Hornby on September 19, 1949. She started her phenomenon at the age of 17. With her pouty lip and doe-eyed look, she mixed pop culture and fashion together. Twiggy was discovered in a hair salon at her Saturday job. On a Friday in the spring of 1966, Twiggy skipped school to go to a hair appointment that would lead her life in a new direction.
I used to have a Saturday job at a hairdresser's where my sister worked and Justin's brother worked. And, you know, he knew I wanted to be a model.
Twiggy was discovered by Nigel Davies, a man who immediately took the responsibility as her manager. Nigel Davies sent Twiggy to go get her hair cut at the famous House of Leonard salon. Vito Sassoon cut Twiggy's hair to her boyish cut and then sent her to top photographer Barry Ladigan to photograph the new look.
When I first saw Twiggy, there wasn't anything especially outstanding. She was a contradiction to the models of the day, who were tall, a little more curvaceous, and more adult in their 20s.
After seeing Twiggy and having no expectations, the photo shoot took a turn for the better.
And she sat in front of my camera and I was absolutely dazzled. She looked straight into me.
The next stroke of luck was one of Leonard's clients, was a lady called Deirdre McSharry, who was a big fashion journalist for a big daily newspaper called the Daily Express. And she was a client. She came in to have her hair done one day, saw the picture of me on the wall with the haircut, said to Leonard, I love the haircut, who's the girl? Leonard said, it's just a young schoolgirl. I want to meet her. I got a phone call at home to go, would I go and do an interview? I mean, I was so green, I didn't even know what an interview was.
Shari published a double-sided spread on Twiggy and how she was the new face of 66. Twiggy was even voted British Woman of the Year, and her fame and fortune grew enormously. Later on in the year, she flew to New York for a photo shoot. Unaware that she was famous in the United States, a young Twiggy was amazed.
I'm looking forward to going into the helicopter, you know, that goes into New York. I want to see the Empire State Building and go to the top.
What do you think of this reception you're getting here today?
Fantastic, I can't believe it. It was incredibly exciting and a bit frightening, actually. I nearly got squashed in New York. We were doing photographs and the crowd gathered because Bert Stern was doing a big documentary on my trip to New York. And I had no idea that it was going to be as big as it became.
Through the year of '69, Twiggy was one of the most successful models and had modeled all over the world, making appearances in the United States, France, and even Japan. Twiggy started to venture to other forms of entertainment, such as music and acting. In 1967, Twiggy recorded her first film called Beautiful Dreams with Mercury Records. Her album won numerous awards and sold over 150,000 copies.
Just give me love when you can. If you need me, a woman in love will understand.
She also made the cover of Vogue 4 times in 1967 and was photographed by famous photographers such as Richard Avedon and Bert Stern. In 1969, Twiggy completely took a break from modeling to pursue different aspects of her career.
But what about my money? Hey! Where's my baby? She's over there! Put it on the slate!
Twiggy first starred in a Peter Clifton music documentary, which led to her meeting the iconic director Ken Russell. Ken opened her mind to the theater when she was about 21 years old. In 1970, Twiggy starred in her first film, The Boyfriend. Ken Russell directed it, and Twiggy played the lead role even though she had never acted, danced, or sung before. Her performance won her 2 Golden Globe Awards.
As Twiggy's phenomenon grew, so did her effect on the people around her and the people of future generations. Twiggy's appearance is what made her big in the modeling industry.
Not exactly voluptuous, Twiggy stands 5 feet 6 inches and weighs 91 pounds. Her measurements 31, 22, 32.
Comparatively speaking to other models during her time, Twiggy was described as a young boy. Other models that were photographed before Twiggy, such as Marilyn Monroe, had an extremely different body type. Marilyn Monroe was a model and actress during the 50s. She was 5 foot 5 inches and weighed 125 pounds. Like other models during her time, Marilyn was full-figured and curvy.
The drastic change from full-figured to thin took the world by surprise and caught on extremely fast. Because the average woman is not extremely tall and thin, the precedent left by Twiggy has made models thinner than ever before.
In the UK, there's a debate going on about whether female models are too skinny. I wondered what you...
They are everywhere around us in the fashion magazines and on the runways, and a lot of young girls grow up wanting to be just like them, these models who seem impossibly thin. And today it was revealed that the gap between them and the average American woman has never been greater.
It is said that the average American woman is about 5'4" and weighs about 173 pounds. The average American model is about 5'11" and weighs about 112 pounds. That is a weight difference of 61 pounds between the average model and the average woman. In the United States alone, more than 50% of women in the world today wear a size 14 or larger, although a model that wears a size 4 to 6 is considered plus-size model.
Even as the average American woman is getting bigger, models continue to shrink. 20 years ago, the average fashion model weighed 8% less than the average woman. Today, she weighs 23% less.
This is the real life. I don't think that people realize how much fashion and models and ad campaigns and weight loss ads does to the woman's self-esteem.
When competing for jobs and a career as a model, the taller and thinner one is mostly picked. For models to compete, they must make sure that they are as thin as they can be to get the jobs that they want. Many models today strive to be as skinny as Twiggy was, and some models are compared to her.
After years of featuring super skinny and often super young models, Vogue magazine, the marquee name in fashion, says thin is no longer in. They're banning models who are too skinny or too young.
This is a really big deal because it's been an unspoken rule, in my opinion, and a lot of models' opinions, that the fashion industry says it's okay to be as skinny as you can, just as long as you can stand up and walk and that you don't faint.
Looking the other way.
Yeah, look, you know what I'm saying? And so it's now that Vogue is taking this initiative and saying, no, we are not going to condone this. You know, we all see girls backstage at fashion shows. I remember when I was a model, I would see girls that had what we call lanugo on their skin, which is a duck-like fur hair that comes on your body when you are anorexic because your body is screaming out to maintain warmth.
Right.
So there's all these things that are the signs that are like smack in their faces that they're like, oh, but she's amazing and she's so skinny and she fits these clothes.
Due to Twiggy's natural skinny look and her success as a model, many assume that her popularity has a connection with the rise in eating disorder statistics. Many people don't know that eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of any mental illness. Anorexia nervosa is one of the many eating disorders where the person refuses to maintain a normal body weight. Famous supermodel Tyra Banks talks to an anorexic woman about her health.
On an average day, how much do you eat? How many calories?
Well, there's like a rule where it's never acceptable to have over 150.
There's a rule. Whose rule is that?
Mine.
Body image plays a large role in the United States and all over the world. It is said that over 90% of women in the United States feel bad about their body image when they see models on TV, in magazines, or anywhere else. Most women think that beauty is defined by how tall and skinny you are. Some researchers believe that this is indirectly related to Twiggy, the first model to be skinny. The first time people started noticing the gap between the average woman and the average model was in 2006. Since then, countries have made weight-restricting laws against models that are becoming too thin. Israel has taken tremendous action by passing multiple laws stating that models must maintain certain BMIs.
A controversial new law that was passed in March. The models there, they have to prove that they've maintained a BMI, a body mass index, of at least 18.5 for 3 months prior to a fashion shoot. And also a woman who's 5'8" can weigh no less than 119 pounds. It also requires advertisers who thin out a model's body with retouching software to disclose that we've actually airbrushed.
Although this isn't a big step in the industry, it is a step in the right direction. With the modeling industry slowly moving forward in time, it will hopefully override the precedent left by Twiggy.
probably over time will change to a new paradigm, and we'll probably see models getting slightly curvier. We have the capacity to enjoy a lot of different shapes of bodies, and we don't need to have one particular shape and say that's what beauty is.